Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new video here on Max Talks Movies. And today I will be ranking all 6 movies that I saw that came out in the month of July. If you're into Max Talks Movies, the best way to support the channel is to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, hit that like button, share this video in the comment section down below. Let me know all the movies that you saw in the month of July. Is there a movie that I didn't see that you saw? Or is there a different ranking of the movies that I assemble? Please let me know in the comment section down below. I respond to every single comment that comes on to Max Talks Movies. So please, please, please comment down below. Without further ado, let's just get started. And as you can see behind me, coming in at number 6 is easily The Kissing Booth 2, a movie that I was definitely not excited for. The first one was my least favorite movie of 2018. Actually, before I do my full talk on these, all of these movies I've officially reviewed in 10-minute videos already up on my YouTube channel, so I'm not going to go that super deep into each film. So if you want to see any of my reviews here, they'll pop up as cards on the top right, or if they do not, please go to my uploads, and you can see all these videos have already had full reviews from me on the YouTube channel. So The Kissing Booth 2 is a movie, again, I wasn't excited for. Hated the first one, and this movie, again, is my least favorite movie of the year so far. The cast for me was better, had better chemistry this time around, but the first movie was an hour 45. This movie was 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it didn't need to be over. Why does this movie have, to be over 2 hours? It had no business being 2 hours and 10 minutes. Now we're going to get a third film in this franchise, and for me, The Kissing Booth is a franchise that I don't know why it continues to go. It's a very hated franchise. I'm not, Jacob Elordi is now a big time person because of Euphoria, and I really like Jacob Elordi now. But Joey King, Joe Courtney are in this movie once again. There's so much going on in this movie, more than the first. The first, for me, is a lot more of a simpler plot. While it's not good, it's still simple. There is so much going on, so many relationships going on. There's a dance competition in this movie, and the kissing booth itself was never brought up at all. In the first act, our two lead characters want to do the kissing booth again. At the end of the movie, they're back at the carnival like the first one, and for some reason, the kissing booth is just happening again. It doesn't fit in what the movie was going for. It feels like there's 3 different times where the movie could have just ended, but it doesn't end. And that was my main issue, and why The Kissing Booth 2 falls in at number 6. My number 5 is another Netflix movie, and that is Fatal Affair, the Netflix original movie starring Nia Long and Omar Epps. It feels like a Lifetime movie that came out on Netflix that we kind of see in the big screen. I really compare this to The Intruder, which came out last year, and I think it's like When the Perfect Man, which came out in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, with Michael Ealy and Morris Chestnut and Sanaa Lathan. This movie, once again, Nia Long is in a rough patch in her marriage, and a new person comes along, Omar Epps' character, who she knew in college. Seems like they had a relationship in college, but Omar Epps, they had one night where maybe he thinks that they're going to become back together. Once she pushes back, Omar Epps becomes this insane person. We learn backstory on Omar Epps, his ex-wife, all these type of things. I really didn't like this movie. I think the performances, though, were good enough for this movie. Nia Long, I do really enjoy Nia Long, and in here, she's easily the best performance in the movie. Omar Epps is good. I would have loved a more over-the-top performance from him, just like The Intruder last year of Dennis Quaid. This movie, once again, in these 2 movies, which I hate, takes itself way too seriously. Some of the things that they tell us really can't happen in the year 2020. They say that Omar Epps is this hacker, but the things that he can do, I think I can even do, or really anyone can even do. I'm not even that super smart of a person, but if I can do it, then I don't really understand how you're going to call Omar Epps' character a hacker. And it pulled me out of the movie. The score is so obvious to what's about to happen. There's one action scene in the whole movie. The end fight scene maybe comes in the last 10 minutes of the movie. So it's kind of like a blink and you miss it action scene at the end. So I would love this movie to have a lot more action. It didn't have enough suspense because you knew exactly what was going to happen. And with the score and weak character development, I really could not stand Fatal Affair. The next movie on my list is Desperados. Another, again, we'll see a lot of Netflix. 5 of the 6 movies on this list are Netflix original films. Desperados is a film that I was actually excited for. Even though I didn't see a trailer, I really like this cast. Nassim Pedrad was one of the standouts for me, surprising standouts in Aladdin. Anna Camp, I know, has potential for comedy. And you have Stephen Amell's brother in here, Robbie Amell, and you also have Heather Graham. So I thought this movie could just be a sneaky Netflix movie that no one's talking about, and there's a reason why no one is talking about it. This is a very bad movie, very weak characters. The whole plot of this movie that Nassim Pedrad, who's our lead character, she basically sends this very rude email to her boyfriend, and her boyfriend, we find out, is basically in a coma or in the hospital or something like that. So now she's in a different country, in Mexico. So now Nassim Pedrad takes her friends all the way to Mexico just to delete this one email. And again, 2020 probably wouldn't need to go all the way to Mexico just to delete an email. There are ways around that. The movie itself tries to give her two best friends like 20 minutes of screen time with just the two of them on their own journey. And I would have liked to seen that, but it was just so random that they get split up. So now they get their own story, and it seems Pedrad gets her own story and a new romance with Laverne Morris. So I really couldn't believe this movie. It should have, and also I hate movies where our lead character and her friend group, our lead character is all about herself. And it feels like no one learned anything at the end of the movie. She still is only talking about her life. The other friends are just listening. And I hate friendships like that, because friendships just, in my opinion, don't really seem to be like that. Because if one person's just talking about themselves, that doesn't really seem like a friendship. And it feels like in this movie, it tries to do that. And there's one scene that I couldn't stand in this movie involving in the ocean with possibly an inappropriate scene between a shark or something like that. Just an animal in the water and our lead character. Something happens, and I couldn't believe they said, yeah, let's put this in the movie. So all three of these movies are, for me, half stars on this list. Now we take it significantly up from a half star to 2 stars with the movie that is the newest movie on this list, which came out this past Friday, and that was the new Netflix original film, Seriously Single, a South African film that I just checked out on Friday. I gave it a 2. I thought the movie had its charming parts. The cast has really great chemistry with each other. The best friend in here, who is right there, she is easily the best part of the movie. Her romance with him really works as well. And they have great chemistry on screen. The problem with this movie for me is our lead character is way too unlikable throughout the movie. I was just talking about Desperados, how our lead character is all about herself and the friendship. Our lead character, even in the end of the movie, is still talking about her life herself. And it becomes unlikable to a certain point. This movie has a lot of qualities of Instagram added into the movie. There are 5 live streams that happen in the movie. Where everyone's taking a picture, and basically it feels like every scene, and that pulls me out of the movie. I don't want to see that type of stuff on screen, and it feels like it was trying to reach this American audience, but it was so forced in there. If you pull the Instagram stuff out, it's the same movie, so why have it in there? Which was really disappointing. You don't understand why our lead character is in this relationship with this guy right here. And why they come back together at the end of near the end of the movie, and it's just a very rushed movie, very predictable movie, but it has really charming actors here, a charming romance going on, and a friendship that has really great chemistry with each other. I would actually prefer this story to be told in a TV series format more than a movie, but here we are in a movie. So now moving on to my number 2 movie of the month, and that is my rating of Greyhound, which is the Apple TV Plus movie with Tom Hanks, a 2.5 stars. So we have my bottom 3 half stars, Seriously Single 2 stars, and now moving into Greyhound, which is a 2.5 star movie in my opinion. Tom Hanks delivers a really great performance in this movie, as always. The movie is so exciting, thrilling with it's really action scene every scene. The movie is only 90 minutes, which was a bit of a shocker, but that's also its fault. Tom Hanks wrote the script, and for me, the script is the biggest issue with the movie. There is basically zero character development for any for all the characters in the movie. No one has any character development. We get one scene in the movie where Tom Hanks is talking to it feels like it's his girlfriend, played by Elizabeth Shue, and it doesn't seem, I just didn't understand why the scene needed to be necessary, other than to know that Tom Hanks has someone waiting for him back home. You don't get the feeling that this is Tom Hanks's first ever trip like this. So that also pulled me out of the movie. But again, there's no character that there was no backstory on Tom Hanks's character, which was desperately needed for this movie. If the movie could have added 10 to 15 more minutes to this movie, it might have helped it, especially giving characterization for Tom Hanks, because the action is so good. He's giving such a great performance. It's such an action-packed film that you needed more character development to care about the characters that are risking their lives. Deaths happen, and it's a blink and you miss a death for a person that you really don't care about. So for me, in general, the movie is super fun. It's a really good runtime, but also no character development for any character, and you don't understand why you're rooting for anyone in this movie. And coming in number one, the only above average movie that I saw in the month of July, coming in at 3.5 stars out of 5, is The Old Guard. I really, really like The Old Guard, starring Charlize Theron. This is, again, the Netflix original film with Chiwetel Ejiofor and Kiki Lane and Marwan Kenzari. I really wanted to, again, love this movie. There are some issues pulling back, but first of all, Charlize seriously is an action star now. Mad Max Fury Road was a great start for her. Then she does a lot of her own stunts in Atomic Blonde. And once again, here in this movie, she really kicks a lot of ass. She's a badass the whole movie. Her backstory is very fascinating. While you don't get a lot of it, when you get it, it's super interesting. The group of these immortal humans was super fascinating to watch on screen. It feels like such an original story in the action genre. The recruitment of Kiki Lane was very fascinating. You really understand where Kiki Lane is, because she's really the audience put into this movie. But for me, the issues with the movie, Chiwetel Ejiofor was criminally wasted again in another movie. His character, you know exactly what's going to happen. He kind of seems dumb. Why would he give up these characters to an evil billionaire for testing if you think they weren't going to kill him? It didn't really make a lot of sense. And then the villain of the movie pulls me out of the movie. He's easily the worst part of the movie. His character is completely over the top, which none of these characters are in the movie. And then his plan and the way, just his villainous plan and the whole movie feels like you've seen it a billion times in this action genre. So for me, a really fun time. I was never bored watching The Old Guard. This and Extraction are really great, really solid action movies to come from Netflix. Hopefully, we take the next step to make it great stories, great villains, and great characters in the action genre. We're still missing. Extraction had its issues, and The Old Guard has its issues as well. But a female director, an African-American director, and Charlize in the lead, just an amazing, amazing story to tell there. I can't wait for a possible sequel. Thanks for watching this list. If you want any of my full breakdowns, reviews, not spoiler fashion, of all 6 of these movies, they are already up on my YouTube channel. So please go there. Click on, probably next time I head to will be the Netflix playlist. Click on those to see all these Netflix films, Greyhound as well. Thank you guys so much. Hit that like button, hit the comment, write a comment for me, share the video, and please subscribe to Max Talks Movies. I'll see you guys on Wednesday for the 3rd episode of Max Talks Movie News. I'll see you then.